Today we explore the role of marine plant and animal materials for animals on beaches. To do this we visit Bribie Island, the fourth largest sand island in Australia, where on the west side of the island is the Australian mainland buffering the coast from heavy winds and waves, while the east side faces out to the open Indian Ocean, taking the full brunt of nature's forces. In order to evaluate this topic, we need to ask the question, does the importance of marine plants and animal material for animals on beaches differ for beaches with different exposures? The beach has always been shifting, and the boundary between the land and the sea are an ever-changing world. In order to monitor the health and state of beaches in a populated area of Queensland, with the aim to compare the data collected over a period of time to measure the impact of both people and weather on these beaches and on the animal population inhabiting the beaches and nearby areas. Marine plants and animal materials utilized by animals on the beaches is important to the very existence of the animals that reside on the beach. Only by understanding the relationships between the beach-dwelling creatures, the organisms of the sand, bird life, mammals, and the physical environment of the beach will we be able to improve our environment, manage our natural resources, and improve our ecosystem for future generations. To further study this environment, an analytical approach should be used to survey the beaches. The use of both baited camera traps and quadrats can be used, as well as pumping the sand for samples of wildlife and organisms inhabiting beneath the surface of the sand. Further photographic evidence of the tree lines could also be used to monitor the trees. On inspection of the unprotected Warren Beach on the eastern side of the island, it has very little to no vegetation lying upon the sands. At high tide there is evidence of pumice stone rocks, but no seagrass. Above the high tide mark, there are sparse grasses which cling to the dunes that become populated by casuarina trees in the dunes. While gulls, terns, and turtles are known to frequent this beach, there is not an abundance of dune life. In contrast, the protected beaches on the western side of the island, mainly White Patch and further north, have evidence of mudflats that are rich with mangroves and seagrasses. There is an abundance of sea creatures found here, large casts of soldier crabs, yabbies, pippies, and worms. Prolific bird life can be viewed utilizing this environment, including pelicans, black swans, sea eagles, terns, and sea eagles, so much so that there is a protected seabird breeding grounds on this side of the island, with strict rules for people who live nearby. Obviously, one would expect that the samples from the protected western aspect of the island would be considerably different in nature to those collected on the exposed eastern side. It is important to establish the necessary marine plants needed to sustain a healthy ecosystem upon each aspect of the island. While the protected side is abundant with wildlife, the exposed seaside is barren in contrast at first glance. The wildlife here is adapted to the extreme conditions of the wild seas, though. By studying the two diversely different sides of the island, the ecologist can determine that the marine plants and animal materials that collect on the beaches of the protected western side are rich in nutrients that feed the whole ecosystem of active animals on the beach, and the councils and environmentalists need to ensure the long-term stabilization of the western side, while on the eastern side, the same conservationists need to ensure that nature is allowed to create space or remove space that creates the island in order for the ecosystem on the wild side to survive.